Okay, let's call this fire district board meeting to order. We'll rise for the pledge of allegiance. The pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chris, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Aldrich.
Here.
Beckman.
Here.
Cox. Verplank.
Here.
Phelps.
Here.
Pullen.
Here.
And North.
Here. And Fox was excused. Please turn off your cell phone. And please don't text during the meeting as it's against the agenda. Could we have approval of the agenda, please?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
Second.
May I,
Okay, is there discussion?
may I, want to suggest consideration to 11A. We could talk about that next month, because I wasn't allowed to send it out in the packet, and I don't want to blindside everybody. If that's okay with you?
Yes,
It's up
that's
to you.
fine. So we'll delete 11A.
To 11A, if it's okay.
Yep. Anybody else?
There's nothing, no action, it's just informational, and I wasn't allowed to send it out with the packet.
Okay, anybody else? So you want to make a new motion, Scott?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda with the corrections that the chief wanted, the deletion.
Second. Okay, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, could we have approval of the minutes of the August 21st meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 21st, 2023.
I'll second. Go ahead, Stacy.
I'll support. Okay, a motion by Beckman, support by Aldrich to approve the minutes of August 21st. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Public comment. Anybody in the peanut gallery want to talk? Okay, request for payments.
Bills. I'll make the motion to make the payments of $144,024.19.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Phelps and a second by Pullen to approve the bills. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yep. Phelps.
Yes.
Pullen.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Beckman.
Yes.
Verplank.
Yes.
And North.
Yes.
Okay, we have a financial report, please, Peter.
Revenues are still light because they all will appear on everybody's winter tax bill, and December 1st is going to be here before everybody knows it. So we're just running out of reserves currently. Then the revenues, I think we're in line. There's some of them have some high end or up there for the percentage of the budget used, but some of them are those things that get paid quarterly or biannually. So far we're in decent shape. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything that sticks out.
Anybody, any discussion?
As long as we got money.
All right. Moving on. Fire chief comment.
Okay, thank you, Board. In reference to incident reports, pretty much everything is customary, nothing that stands out. I do have an exception that you'd like to know about. We're up just under 2%. You know, kind of each month we kind of go up. So 2% of 800 calls is a lot different than 2% of 600 calls like it used to be. So on page 38, what I wanted to point out on personnel response to incidents, which I think is notable, is typically you have Kyle and Riley in the running. Okay, Kyle and Riley are full-time. Note Phil Dalton, who has 223 responses, just under 226 for Riley. Phil Dalton has a full-time job, paid on call. Why do I share that with you? It's pretty admirable that a paid-on-call person would achieve that many calls. He's trying to buy a house, so he is picking up shifts. We almost have to say, oh, please, Phil, don't take any more shifts. You just got married, you're gonna get divorced again. So, yeah, so we're trying to govern him, throttle him back, but he is desperately trying to buy a house and has made a couple offers in Fenville, only to get shuffled out of the bidding process. So, I think you would wanna know this. Riley and Kyle, way to go, guys. Usually John dusted you guys, you know, John Miles.
I kept it even with John.
I think you count by twos, though.
Ooh.
So, moving on, Inspector Society report. So, not a lot difference there. Good thing is, Michigan fire deaths are down by 6%. Increase in fires, but the deaths have decreased. Other than that, everything is typical. Deadliest time of the day, types of fires where we find the victims. Next on the agenda would be grants. I am proud to share with the board that we got a $10,000 grant for a thermal imager, which is that camera that picks out heat sources and helps us fight a fire or a firefighter trapped in a building or a victim trapped in a building. Chief author on this Treasury grant was Chris Antles. Thank you, Chris. So that's $10,000 towards the taxpayers that they don't have to fund.
How many cameras have you got now?
There's 4, and they're on a 5-year plan, you know, no more than 30-year-old types. So like any other electronics, they're on a 5-year plan, and our insurance company will only let you do 2 thermal imagers. So I have 1, trucks, and then the other first responder vehicle has 1. So whoever gets there first can do the 360 requirement with the thermal imager. Next up, certifications, Chad Brink, he's one of our part-time guys and a paid-on-call as well. Achieved a emergency medical responder certification. Always a very tough class, so we are happy that he was able to do that. Next item, 9E, was strictly informational. Just to kind of let you know, we had some projects that were time-consuming, and I thought the board would want to know this. So I drafted up, I put it in my phone, project current demands in September and August. And it's self-explanatory, I'm not gonna go over it unless you have questions. But there were some things that took some time, for example, Blue Star Highway, shoulder parking, nobody could address but Daniel and I. And we had complaints filed in the office, and frankly, everybody just turned around enforcement-wise. So we rectified that. The other thing was the Blue Star Highway intersection study and Safe Street Master Plan. And Township has taken the lead on this, which is great, but you can't filter out, in my opinion, Saugatuck Township, Blue Star are not considered Douglas. And there was some kind of opinions there, you know, with engineers. Well, you can't clear it, we don't have any jurisdiction over that. To the township's credit, we have a problem on Blue Star Highway. And they are writing a grant to do a study. So they asked for our input, the township's input, and the road commission input, engineering-wise. So we were lucky to be included in that. But it took time, as did the short-term rental response. I'm not here to song and dance, I'm just here to say, you know, besides the calls, there's some activity here that takes time. I can be on the highway 5 hours, which I just was. So all of a sudden things get stacked back. You'll notice on here number 15, if anybody has any questions about the full-time staffing, I'm here to answer them. If there's any concerns, I felt I could not do this in the summertime, and I stand by that position. If the board directs me otherwise, tell me now, because there's only so many hours in the day. And I can't do it all. I felt I could do this later on. I was lucky enough, the department was lucky enough to get it approved. I did not feel I could do it for reasons referenced in this. There's a written test and agility test, and I'll have 7 to 15 applicants. And our hiring committee, I felt, boy, in June, July, I can't do this, so I was planning to do it later on. If there is any concerns, I am happy to change the prioritization, and other stuff will give. But you gotta tell me.
I just wonder if we should hire an outside agency to do this.
I'd advise,
With your final approval.
I'd advise against that.
Okay.
Here's the reason. I think you should have internal applicants be considered. Here's my posture. What has that person done for our community? He wants to come in because he gets health care and a salary. I have people working here for $4.15 an hour. Phil Dalton averaged 83 hours per week in March. So did Wendy Vale. And then somebody's gonna come in here for a full-time job because they can get. So I would not
So
like
are
that.
so these jobs are not gonna be posted
They will
externally?
be posted.
Externally.
They will.
You're still gonna have that, people come in that want
Correct.
that.
There's a number from Grassup that want to apply, but they don't know the diversity that we have, and that's why we've always done it like this. However, it does take time because I'm bringing in the agility test and the written test and making it a lot stricter this time.
Where do they do the agility test, here?
Here, Applied Fire Training Center. It's going to mirror South Haven's testing.
Okay.
I got it from that chief. And the written test I got from 2 other organizations. So, because of you can't really do that with paid on call because you don't have 7 applicants. But those are the reasons. I'll do whatever you direct me to do. But I think we can do a good job hiring, whether it's inside or outside. I think we kind of know what we want to do.
I personally think we should leave the hiring to you. I mean, you know what's needed. You can sure bring me in, but I don't know what's needed.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Eric's intent was to relieve
Right.
the burden of that.
The burden of weeding through it, all of
Right.
it, all of it. And like I said, yours would be the final decision anyway.
Yeah.
If you
I-
need help,
I appreciate
I
that.
think we need to give it to you,
Yeah,
is my
I
point.
agree.
But that's kind of why, that was really the primary reason. I shuffled it off because all of a sudden I had some paid on call that were sticking with us. We lost Caleb DeMond. Why? Moved out of the area. Couldn't buy a house. He's up in Rockford or some town, I don't even know if it's in Michigan.
Wow.
Lost another one. EMT, firefighter.
Housing is a big issue.
Yep.
When you do this, do you do each individual, or do you take everything written test together, or how does that go down? Do you have to spend time with each person, or do you do a group thing?
No, it's individual.
Okay. So it would be.
So there's no
time-consuming
distractions. We don't,
Yeah, right.
we try to show respect to the candidate, say, this is your opportunity to tell us why should we
How
hire you.
long does it take usually to?
We have a list of questions that are all the same questions, and depending upon how elaborate they get,
Okay.
it could take 12 minutes, it could take 25 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It varies. We ask all the same questions, and we go person to person to ask those questions, and the response is documented.
Do we have a personnel committee?
Right here. I'm human resources and the personnel committee.
Okay. Okay.
It's in the handbook.
And what?
It's in the handbook. I'm human
I
resources.
should probably read the handbook.
That's all right. I don't expect you to. But that's what we've done.
Yeah, we need to get going on it.
Okay.
You got so much going on, you need to get some of the pressure taken off of you.
Yeah, I agree, I agree.
You got too much going on.
I think we had a lot, the short-term rental, no disrespect to anybody. I think we had 4 days to prepare for that. We were completely blindsided by that.
And they've been working on it for 20 years and still don't have it right, so.
Yeah. The Blue Star Highway corridor, I think we were asked to turn that over in 5 days. I said, I'm gonna disappoint you, I can't do it. And it was, yeah, no problem, do it when you can. So, we got that done.
Okay, moving on, okay?
Yep.
To unfinished business, the sale of the fireboat 2192. We have to approve to send the monies that we sold it, but you have to approve to send the money to the insurance company?
Right. So this was a formality, if I may?
Right, yeah.
It's a formality, we owe you the money, but I didn't want you to think we were gonna send $34,000 checks without you knowing about it.
What if we don't send the money?
She probably wouldn't know.
That's true. It probably goes to the truth.
So why are we sending the money?
Well, we wait till they call it.
Yeah, maybe they should send.
Well, number one, I didn't wanna lose my job, number two, I don't wanna be in Allen County Jail. If you can figure this out, but this was a most unusual situation, and it was a lawyer.
Figures.
It was a lawyer that said, no, I can't do that.
Well, maybe we should wait for the second notice, but, oh.
You have the money.
Are we collecting interest on it?
Yeah.
So the insurance company paid for the rewiring because the engine wouldn't start. All the wiring absorbed water because it sunk, so there was a voltage loss on there. And, you know, the trailer, you got paid back for the trailer, so we did all right.
So you're having to send them a check? And they're gonna send money back? Is that?
No,
No?
so the boat sunk.
Yeah.
They said, we're not gonna fix it, we gotta order a new one. So when it sunk, they said at the end of the year, we'll take it over to salvage, what do you think? And I said, you're gonna get pennies on the dollar, we used it, why don't you sell it? Would you help us with that? I said, yeah, so-and-so code, so-and-so, and get it listed. 7 months later, they said, well, you own the boat. How can we own the boat? How can we own 2 boats? You already replaced it.
Okay, we probably really talked about this one.
Sorry. So we sold it, I sold it on behalf of the insurance company, the money goes to them.
Okay.
So I know it sounds odd, but it's all explainable. You probably don't want to tie up.
I'm sure it is.
No.
I'm sure I already got you up there.
Eric, why don't you put a motion together?
I'll make a motion to authorize the fire district staff to transfer funds to MMRMA for the proceeds of the sale of the fireboat 2192 from the broker in the amount of $34,663.65.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion by Beckman, second by Pullen. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Wait a minute, we probably have a
Roll
roll
call.
call. We have a roll call vote, please.
Yep. Okay, Beckman?
Yes.
Holm?
Yes.
Aldrich?
Yes.
Verplank?
Yes.
Phelps?
Yes.
And Norton?
Yes.
6-0.
Okay, moving on. Unfinished business, cost recovery update.
Well, I'm happy to show you with you that we did get a cost recovery payment on the second fire in Ganges Township, mutual aid. So you got $2,600 back, full amount. The other one is still in progress with the township. I worked with Eagle on that one, and
Is that
Eagle
the
was
tire
there.
one, or
I'm
which?
sorry.
Which one was the tire one?
First, that one, the Eagle contacted me about. And they said, without a doubt, do a lien, do this, do that. So, that's up to Ganges. But this was a second one where they started a fire, left, and it burned down a barn. And we were brought in because we were the only ones that could get a tanker in there. So it's $2,600 they paid for it.
Thank you. Moving on, new business, 2151 emergency repairs.
2151 is the aerial, and there was some DOT problems. This DOT, Department of Transportation, annual inspection is required. It had some failures on part of the ladder mechanism, over 16,000, it's emergency repairs, we'll let you know about it. I gotta get it fixed,
Oh, yeah.
so I would just want to let you know.
Okay, so do we,
Since it was emergency repair we've done in the past, we just had it done.
right. There's no correspondence, public comment, fire board comment. We'll start with Kathy.
No comments.
I do. Won't be here next meeting, I'm having back surgery on October 4th, and I'm not sure about, I don't know what's gonna happen from the November one, but definitely not October, so I'll let you know.
Good luck.
What, man? I think the personnel thing is the only thing that we gotta get going, something's gotta get done with it.
Yep. I'm gonna meet with Mike Betts Wednesday, and we'll start drafting the final modification of the written test.
Get moving on it.
Yep, we'll do.
Steve?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Eric?
I'm good.
Me too. All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn. This could be our shortest meeting.
Been a long time, I'll take a motion.
Yeah.
Get out of here while we can.
I'll support.
All those in favor?
Like the good old days.
Yep.
15 minutes and we're done.